Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I am making you host Prabhuji. Mataji will join, she was mentioning. So let us see for some time, otherwise you can only take it up Prabhuji. I have gone live.
Yeah, okay.
Prabhuji, you please start actually. Mataji's phone also not answered actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I called Mataji.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
got.
I also tried. The
I
phone
tried.
is just ringing and she's not answering.
Yes, Prabhuji. You can continue, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances and Dandavat Pranam. I invite you for the early morning short Bhagavatam class. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Usha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Vijay Kumari Mataji, Surya Prakash Rao Prabhuji.
Dandavat pranams.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. I invite you for the early morning short Bhagavatam class organized by ISKCON Radha Govinda Temple, Kulai, Mangaluru. And indeed, I invite you for and on behalf of His Grace, Sri Ramanista Das Prabhuji. We shall begin with the prayers. You must also say your prayers, keeping the mute button on. Prayers are very important, as I always say. That's the only thing which gives us the understanding of the message that Lord wants to convey. And without that message, we are not having any concept of what to do with our life. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Picharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desha Tarine. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapidamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Udupakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavasya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagardanita Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagardanita Sri Vishakhanvitasya. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
Krishna Krishna Hare
हरे
Hare
हरे।
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
If you could just wait for a minute. हरे कृष्ण माता जी। Okay. So, no, it's just beginning. We are just saying prayers. If you want to join, then I've got everything ready for you. No problem, no issues. Okay. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Narottamam.
Narayanam
Narayanam
Chaiva
Namaskritya
Namaskritya Naram
Narottamam
Chaiva
Narottamam
Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire.
Devim
Devim
Saraswatim
Saraswatim
Vyasam Tato
Vyasam
Jayamudire.
Shurnatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana.
Punyataha
Swakatham Krishna
Katha Krishna
Punya
Punya
Shravana
Shravana
Kirtana
Kirtanaha
Tadayanta Soya Bhadrani Vidunoti Surastata.
Hriyantosto he
Hridayananda Shri
Avatani
Bhaktivedanta
Vedantosthi
Nashta Praeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Prayesh
Nashtaprayeshu
Abhadreshu
Abhadreshu
Yam
Nityam
Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Sevaya
Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhagavati
Bhavati
Ki
Uttamam
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhavatu Naistiki.
We shall straightway go to the sloka. We are a bit late. I'm sorry. There is a bit of a confusion. We all are having a right to have some confusion. So, no issues. Sixth canto. Prescribed Duties of Mankind, Chapter 5, Narada Muni cursed by Prajapati Daksha. Verse number 41. Those who want to recite the verse may raise their hand. Chitra Mohini Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mata ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nanubhuya na janati puman vishayati kshnataam nirvidyate swayam tasmat tata pinnadi paraihi. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Venkata Narsiha Rao Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Nanubhuya na janati puman vishyati kshnatam nirvidyate swayam tasmanna tatha vinnadhi parai. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you. Sukanya Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. नानभूय न जानाति पुमान् विषयति क्षणताम् निर्विद्यते स्वयं तस्मान् तथा भिन्नधिः परैः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी.
Thank you, Mataji. Pranandandini Madhvi Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नानुभूय न जानाति पुमान् विषयति क्षणताम् निर्विद्यते स्वयं तस्मान् न तथा भिन्नधि परेः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु. थैंक यू प्रभु.
Madhusoni Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नानुभूय न जानाति पुमान विषयति क्षणताम् निर्विद्यते स्वयं तस्मान् तथा भिन्नधि परे. थैंक यू प्रभु जी. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you, Mataji. Vijaya Kumari Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय धनाभूय धनाजादि ओमात् विषय देशनदां निर्विद्येद स्वयं दस्मान् तदादि बिंदति परे. थैंक यू प्रभु जी.
Suramya Madhvi Devi Dasi ji. Pleasure to have you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम नानुभूय न जानाति पुमान् विशति क्षणताम् निर्विद्यते स्वयं तस्मान् न तथा भिन्नधि परैः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु. थैंक यू.
Surya Prakash Rao Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नानुभूय न जानाति पुमान् विषय तीक्षताम् निर्विद्यते स्वयं तस्मात् न तथा भिन्नधि परैः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Usha Dayavati Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नानुभूय न जानाति पुमान् विषयति क्षणतम् निर्विद्यते स्वयं तस्मान् न तथा भिन्नधि परैः. थैंक यू प्रभु जी. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Revati Ratnangi Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नानाभूय न जानाति भूमान् विशति क्षणताम् निर्वते स्वयं तस्मात् तथा भिन्नधिः परैः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, Revati Ratnangi Mataji. I'll ask you to read the synonyms after the last one.
यस
Usha
यस.
Uma Kulkarni Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नानुभूय न जानाति पुमान् विषयति क्षणताम् निर्विद्यते स्वयं तस्मान्न तथा भिन्नाधिः परैः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Thank you, Uma Kulkarni Mataji. Revati Ratnangi Mataji, would you read synonyms for us, please?
Yes, yes, it's a pleasure, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Na, not, anubhayo, experiencing, not, janati knows, Puman, a person, Vishaya Dikshatam, the sharpness of material enjoyment. Nirvidyate becomes aloof, Swayam himself, Tasmat from that, Nadata, not like that, Binadit, whose intelligence is changed, Paraihi, by others. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Revati Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Material enjoyment is indeed the cause of all unhappiness, but one cannot give it up unless one has personally experienced how much suffering it is. Therefore, one should be allowed to remain in so-called material enjoyment while simultaneously advancing in knowledge to experience the misery of these false material happiness. Then, without help from others, one will find material enjoyment distasteful. Those whose minds are changed by others do not become as renounced as those who have personal experience. Beautiful verse, and verse is going around two hard facts. You cannot create a faith in someone, or you cannot create renunciation in someone. That is something that has to come from within. And that's why it is from within that the things have to change. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is said that unless a woman becomes pregnant, she cannot understand the trouble of giving birth to a child. Bandhya ki ujive prasava vedana. The word bandhya means a sterile woman. Such a woman cannot give birth to a child. How then can she perceive the pain of delivery? According to the philosophy of Prajapati Daksha, a woman should first become pregnant and then experience the pain of childbirth. Then, if she is intelligent, she will not want to be pregnant again. Actually, however, this is not a fact. Sex enjoyment is so strong that a woman becomes pregnant and suffers at the same time of childbirth, but she becomes pregnant again despite her experience. According to Daksha's philosophy, one should become implicated in material enjoyment so that after experiencing the distress of such enjoyment, one will automatically renounce. Material nature, however, is so strong that although a man suffers on every step, he will not cease his attempt to enjoy. Kshipyanti neha kripana bahu dukkha vajaha. Under these circumstances, unless one gets the association of a devotee like Narad Muni or his servants in the disciplic succession, one's dormant spirit of renunciation cannot be awakened. It's not a fact that because material enjoyment involves so many painful conditions, one will automatically become detached. One needs the blessings of a devotee like Narada then one can renounce his attachment for the material world. The young boys and girls of Krishna conscious movements have given up the spirit of material enjoyment, not because of the practice, but by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his servants. An elaborate purport, nicely taking up the subjects and squarely answering the subjects well. We have been in a situation where Daksha is actually finding faults with Narada Muni. The incidents came about because Narada Muni was involved in helping children of Daksha go back to Godhead. On the surface, that's fine. Daksha should actually thank Narada Muni for his great obligation as an exalted devotee of the Lord. He is said to be the first devotee of the Lord. However, that doesn't happen because this is a material world. Material world is where everybody is hankering with their agenda. Everyone has their own way of looking at things and their own way of twisting the matter to suit their purpose of doing things. In simple words, we call agenda. The purpose or agenda of Daksha Prajapati was to create progeny through his children. First set of children, Harsavyas, they were quite a large number, 11,000. And they all were very nice children, very pious, and not grossly contaminated with material world. Narada Muni saw in them souls which are ready for liberation by very short procedure, and thus he showed them the Bhakti Yoga along with austerity and penances, and they went back to Godhead very easily. Daksha produced second set of children, and the same thing happened to them. Savala Swals. So this is his agenda for these two sets of children was to get more progeny to fill up the planets. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Though the fact is that better things happened to his children than what his idea, thinking, and endeavor was. Begetting children and raising family is nothing but entering into the material world, entering into the material entanglement, and becoming a conditioned soul. I think for all of us, saying a conditioned soul is enough to understand the status and the punishments of that conditioned soul. Instead, Narada Muni, very kindly being an exalted devotee, helped them go back to Godhead, which is a very peaceful condition, blissful condition, popularly known as Satchit Anand, which allows them to continually perform divine devotional service and live a divine blissful life. But because his demand or desire were not fulfilled, and these desires or demand are always material. His desire was to get few more material, few thousand, few lakhs, more material bodies to populate planets. So, in other words, the material desires creates a real hankering, and that hankering creates disappointment and the lust that eventually takes you to a loss of intelligence. And once your intelligence is gone, you will be bewildered with simplest of the things and go haywire. Two things are happening here with Daksha, with the complaint of Daksha Prajapati. Number one, Daksha Prajapati says that if you want to experience a womanhood, you got to pass through a childbearing period. That's a long period, 10 months. And you pass through a painful process of delivering child. That gives you a motherly satisfaction. And it is said that there is no satisfaction beyond the motherly satisfaction of delivering a child. Everything that is beautiful is also painful. They even say that life is painful and that's why it is beautiful. So if you take away the pain factor, the beauty doesn't remain there. And thus, the pain is the main factor that remains along with the childbearing period and creating a delivery or a motherly feelings. But if someone has experienced that pain for as long as 10 months and experienced 2 or 3 days of process of delivery, mind you, it takes about a day or 2 or 3 to deliver a child normally. This whole process is really painful, and an intelligent mother would not probably have the child again. She gets one pleasure of childbearing and one great satisfaction, motherly satisfaction of delivering a child. One usually gets satisfied with it and never seek for second children. That's what is happening in the West. The mothers in the West are pretty ready to adopt children rather than go through the process, painful process. And incidentally, the pleasure of the labor, pregnancy, and delivery, all of them have side effects like it distorts body. Like you need to really go through a rehabilitation to come back to more or less kin to the previous status that you had before pregnancy. Process is long and still you never achieve the same kind of a body that you had before pregnancy. And this is the reason why the West is against children. They are ready to adopt children. And that's why they do not produce children, and that's why their growth is negative. We say that if two people are living in this world, husband and wife, if they produce two children, that's called zero growth because two of them are going to die and they are being replaced. thing that we all know about. In younger population, caesarean section is not only a fashion, but now the demand of the day, because it is said that the pain is being taken away. Anyway, we are sidetracking. The thing is that Daksha is saying that unless one has an experience of pregnancy and delivery, one cannot talk about or understand about the pain that a woman suffers through. And second thing Daksha continues with it is that the renouncement doesn't come by kind of endeavors. I'm sure you remember in Bhagavad Gita, when we studied Gita, we were told very strongly that bhakti, lata, bij, or a seed that you need to plant into your heart to begin a bhakti. In short, to begin a bhakti, you need devotees' blessings. More than 99% of it is because of the devotees' blessings, senior devotees' blessings, that you get a Bhakti Lata Bij and the Bhakti begins. In very small percentage, very rarely, Krishna's mercy also brings about the seed, and extremely rarely scripture giving you that mercy, but it's mainly the senior devotees. The meaning of this conversation is that you cannot start bhakti on your own. You need the blessings and the mercy of a senior devotee to begin the bhakti. Similarly, renunciation doesn't come by somebody's instructions and doing endeavors of many kinds. Renunciation only comes if you are tired and frustrated of the material world. That tiring and frustration you've got to experience yourself and come to a stage where you say enough is enough and I don't want this world anymore. Unless you come to that stage, renunciation is never going to be there. And mind you, all other processes only to some extent help you as a catalyst, but none of them produce renunciation. It is only your experience, your frustration, your looking at all the miseries, you realizing that the happiness that we have in the material world is like blinking of eyes. The moment happiness comes, just look beyond and there is already a misery following it. So there is no constant happiness. And we all know that the only bad thing in this world is a change. Change is one constant thing that keeps happening in our life, in our material life. And we are not worried about the change. The only thing is we do not know what change is going to be. And that ignorance is creating all the material hankering, displeasure, frustration, and real anger against the material life. But no one can stop a change. And thus, renunciation can only be gotten by getting an experience of a world's total frustration. You must get the experience of frustration, of the belittling the world, and that there is nothing like happiness. Though we all look for happiness almost everywhere in every corner of the life. So Daksha Prajapati says that you must experience yourself about the material world, indirectly claiming and blaming Narada that you do know you have not lived a material life. Daksha Prajapati, in the process of finding faults, going grossly on a wrong side to try and prove that Narada Muni has a problem. If we look at the writings here, the verse 41, A and B, the 41, this verse is divided into two. A explains the personal experience of the misery of happiness. Misery and false happiness. And will naturally, this false happiness will help you create the attachment. Detachment. It actually induces the detachment. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport in nutshell that material nature induces one to enjoy even after suffering. Automatic detachment is impossible. In other words, if you are thinking that you will read these 10 books and by the end of reading of those 10 books, you will be detached from the material world. It's not going to happen. You better start introspecting and working on yourself to get detached. And the second part of this verse is one whose mind is changed by others cannot be renounced. In other words, if I lecture you for next 100 hours, I would not still be able to prove that material world is bad and that create renunciation and detachment from so nicely looking a material world. Unless you have that experience, nothing can be done. Renunciation cannot be created in you. Srila Prabhupada explains that detachment is possible by devotees' blessings. In short, devotees' blessings are very essential not to just begin the bhakti or a bhakti lata beach plantation in your heart, because no amount of endeavor is going to create or do that for you. The continuation of bhakti, where renunciation is the most important factor, unless you have renounced and detached, the bhakti is not going to go a long way. And going long way is only possible by devotees' blessings. In other words, when senior devotees are doing something, rather than trying to find, like material world thinking, that what is wrong in their instruction, simply accept that as blessings. Gaurav Prabhuji the other day was explaining in Bhagavatam class at 8 o'clock that Maharaj once asked a devotee to go and get a glass of water. He ran, got a glass of water, and was standing in front of Maharaj. And Maharaj said, "Why are you just standing here and just keeping a glass of water in your hand? Throw the water, put the glass back, and sit down." Instead of thinking that what Maharaj is doing, he said, "This is a blessing, and I'm lucky that Maharaj is asking me to sit beside him." And so he did that. In other words, you got to have that faith. If you have faith in your Guru Maharaj or spiritual master, then and then you're going to increase your faith and get a faith for Lord Krishna. I explained to you and told you in detail about Sharanagati, that what is Sharanagati or surrender is a complete confidence in Lord Krishna. What confidence? That he will provide you whatever would be necessary at whatever time, and he will provide you enough for you to survive and be happy. And whatever happens, he will always protect you in any circumstances, be it the nuclear device being opened up or in your stay uterus or anything else. That kind of surrender is needed to be created in us. And unless we have that surrender, we will not be able to go back to Godhead. Total faith in our survival, in our security, and for that matter, anything and everything is the only way going back to Godhead. Before you create that kind of surrender, we all must learn to surrender to our spiritual master, to have faith in him. This verse precisely explains that. The verse that we looked at yesterday about the knowledge and renunciation, and we discussed everything about that beautifully, that by changing the robe from a devotee, you don't become a sannyasi. It is yourself which has to change. And that's why all the messages that we read from Srimad Bhagavatam needs to be put into practice. You need to change, and that's why you need to introspect yourself every day, whether you are learning right things or you are just collecting information for no help at all. So 2 verses carry home message is that you got to have the renunciation with the mercy of the devotees, and you must get detached yourself only after frustration in this material world and complete absence of happiness, or mere small happiness with large reasons. This experience has to be your own experience to create renunciation and then detachment. We the other day learned about attachment to Krishna, and we realized that we need the devotees' mercy there. Similarly, detachment to the material world also needs mercy of the devotee. In other words, we all need continuous mercy to remain in the spiritual path and to walk on that path. And that's why we must always show our gratitude to our acharyas, show our gratitude to our senior devotees, and from those where we are learning things. The main difference between the spiritual and the material life is this gratitude, and the other thing is compassion. It is the compassion that which appears first, and the second change that occurs is you start feeling gratitude for everything that happens around. When these two changes occur more involuntarily in you, and you introspect and succeed in saying that yes, these two changes are seen in me, you are walking on a right path. Hare Krishna. Any questions, any revelations, any additions, any commentaries, any doubts, any issues? Please do not hesitate.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shakti Mataji.
Prabhu, it's a beautiful explanation. I was just remembering one shloka from Bhagavad Gita. I think Mataji is having a good information about it. It's Ashocyanan Vashochastvam Pragyavadansh Bhashase. Means we speak good things, but we actually not get renounced from inside. But the one who gets renounced from inside is the one who actually gets God. So means this is the difference between our thinking and actually leading towards the right path. This is what I was thinking. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Shakti Mataji, for your revelation. Thank you. Surekha Mataji, would you like to add something for this sloka?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. No,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
you have explained so well. No additions from my side. Nothing at all. So Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam is the real nature of this world, and still we think that it's a place to find pleasures. So
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Surekha Mataji. Surekha Mataji is our scholar, and we
no,
always
Prabhuji,
ask her
no,
and
not
find
at all.
many things, and she is reciting verses so nicely all the time. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. If there is no other question, I think we have crossed the time. Thank you very much for attending the class. We really appreciate it. We all wish you have a nice Krishna conscious Tuesday. We'll see you again tomorrow. We expect Mataji to come tomorrow. And otherwise, all of you have a nice day. Hare Krishna to everyone.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Salams.
Krishna.
Such a wonderful class. Thank you.